Hey, what's up, guys? So I'm going to be doing my overview and pretty much impressions, pretty much review of the Benchmade 950 Rift, and up here I have the Delica 4 for some size comparison, and also a Chris Reeve large Sabenza. So as you can see here, compared to the Delica, it's quite a bit bigger knife, and up here with the large Sabenza is about the same in overall length and also blade. So anyways, just like usual, I'm going to go ahead and shoot out the specs on the Benchmade Rift here. The overall length on this is 8.27 inches. The blade on it is 3.67 inches. And the close length is 4.6 inches. The thickness of the blade, if that matters to you, is 0.114 inches. And the weight of this knife is 4.8 ounces. So that's fairly heavy, but I honestly don't really feel it that much, and I think that's probably due to the ergonomics of the blade and how evenly distributed it is. And the steel use is 154 cm, which is my first experience with 154 cm, whereas my other Benchmates both feature different steels. And I can't say my experience with it has been the best, but I'll get down to that a little bit later. As you can see, it's like a modified drop point with like a reverse Tonto on the edge there. It's got some mean wedges, as you can see, coming down the top here, and just I believe it's pretty much a full flat grind once it hits this second grind right here, and all the way down to the tip, it's like a full flat grind. So this thing is meant to be a pretty good slicer, and I believe I do have faith that it can be. Um, Also, it's got a ton of belly, as you can see there, so a lot of people like that, and because of that reverse Tonto there, it's definitely giving some extra strength in the tip, because as you can see, due to that swedge on both sides, it makes it almost invisible, super thin, because that swedge is cut out so precise that when it meets the second line here, it's already starting the full flat, so you just barely feel that line of thickness here. So definitely made a slice and could. Um, Now, the reason why I say that is because when I bought this, it was slightly used and it was very dull. And trying to sharpen this has been the biggest pain in the butt for me ever in my life. It typically does not take me long to put a decent edge or hair popping edge on a knife that's already sharp, but this one, for some reason, I'm just having trouble trying to get back to a razor edge, and I don't know if that's because of the settings I'm using. I'm using 40 degrees on the Spyderco Sharp Maker, trying to at least put a micro bevel on it to get it sharp, and I've even taken it down to flipping the Spyderco Sharp Maker over and just doing a freehand, which does give it a pretty I gave it a much sharper edge than it was, but not a fine slicing edge. So I gotta show you right now what I'm talking about, what it's at. So as you can see, it cuts, and I've gotten it to the point where it can cut pretty well, but like that, it just snagged a little bit. Um, it's just hard to get this thing to a mere polished edge, I guess. So it kind of tears a bit while I'm cutting. Although some spots on the blade will just slice. I mean, in comparison to like a Sabenza, this is a Sabenza small, you can hear the difference too. Just effortless slicing with the Sabenza. It's another thing, that you're paying for when you're buying this. Just perfection. And then as you can see there, with Sabenza, I was able to easily, lightly cut and split paper and slice and dice and whatnot, versus the Benchmade, which I'm having a heck of a time sharpening. As you can see, there's kind of like tear edges right there, so it's not cutting the cleanest. Now that could just be because of my bad sharpening skills with 154 CPM, but I mean CM, 154 CM, but I'm not sure. I can't get it to a hair popping edge, and I'm trying, so I'm not sure if I'm going to end up keeping this or not, just because I can't sharpen it. But anyways, back to the review. This thing is lightning fast. It uses dual thumb studs, that protrude the handle a little bit even, or I shouldn't say the handle, but it's got machine G10 handles, and they kind of groove inward on both sides, so it makes it that much easier to get to those thumb studs, which are very aggressive with ridges all the way around, and extremely easy to take out. You want to just manually open it, very easy. You want to flick it, you just put your thumb behind and just flick right out, and it shoots out. It's ridiculously fast blade. Um, I would have to say definitely one of the fastest knives I own. And of course that features the axis lock. This knife does not have any jimping on it whatsoever, not on the top there, not on the bottom, but due to that machine G10, which you can see is pretty ergonomic, it's kind of different. I'm used to finger choils near the front of the knife handle, but this one's got like one in the back, and my pinky like locks in there. So my pinky wraps around that, and like I just feel like it's not going anywhere. It's very solid in the hand. And I was kind of worried, like, I can't choke up on this, but I kind of played around and moved my hand around on the knife. And as you can see on the top here, there's a flat part of the blade. Although there's no jimping, I can take my pinky off of this and just move my hand up into this space, forefinger grip it, and then put my thumb over. And that's perfect for my thumb placement. So if you do want to choke up a bit on it, you can. And because of that machine G10, it feels extremely good for cutting and whatnot. And as far as the clip goes, it is only it's right and left hand carry, but it's only for tip up. So if you like tip down, that's not an option on this knife. Then it uses that arrow head. I think I call it like a split arrow pocket clip or whatever. I'm not a big fan of that because I feel that the pocket clip is kind of sharp and it's kind of unnecessary, but it gets the job done. Um, and the construction of this is torque screws. It takes 4 torque screws. Got one in the back, middle, end, and then you got the pivot screw. And they're all Torx bit. So, you can take it down like that. And, yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on the knife. I mean, other than that, it's pillar construction, open construction. Blade on this is just about centered, just about perfect. And just overall, like, I can picture this just being an extremely heavy duty folder, and I know this thing has got potential, like a lot of potential. Just for me, I'm just having trouble giving it that really sharp edge that I want. I have to say, when I bought this used and received it, I wasn't expecting it to be so dull. I threw it in my pocket to take home or to work, and once I got to work, I went to cut a box, and this thing would not cut through cardboard. Like, I was pushing really hard, and it was just like pushing through the cardboard, not cutting. And I was just really, really upset. And so, luckily I had my Benz on me, which I whipped out and just zipped through it, making, just embarrassing this knife. And so I had to take it home and tried sharpening it a couple times now, and I just can't give it that razor fine edge that I want. So, gotta practice honing my sharpening skills, I guess. But, overall, like I said, it's a super comfortable knife. You can choke up on it this way. You can hold it back here. It feels comfortable. It really locks your pinky in over this back finger choil. Um, you know, fast closing with the ambidextrous axis lock. Super light, flicking it out. It's got tons of edge for utility. Lots of sweep. It's got a reverse tanto, so if you needed to pierce, you could. Reinforced tip because of that. All the wedges just make the blade so thin, and for the full flat grind, this thing is just meant to be a slicer. Just needs the edge so it can. So, anyways, guys, those are my thoughts and opinions on the Benchmade Rift, and I really do like that Machine G10. When I first looked at this knife, when I first saw it, I really thought it was kind of goofy, kind of like, I don't know, I didn't really like the shape of the handle, didn't really enjoy the grooves on the handles. I thought the blade looked kind of funky, but really once you get it in your hand, like, this thing is definitely made for use, and definitely a knife that can handle some. And I do have it under the black class, and do say that it's for, law enforcement officers or, army or whatever, so it is a bit more on the tactical side, I guess, according to the Benchmade. And if you guys care, there is a lanyard hole there for that. So that's pretty much all the points I can think of at the moment. This is probably like a medium-sized to large knife for EDC, I would say. But the way it feels and the way it holds and everything, it feels like a bit over medium, but it's more of a large, but carries like a medium. So, alright guys, there you go.